How are you?
Doing all right, Trey. How you doing?
I'm good, good. Sir, artistic director in the building, you have a heavy title. It comes with a lot of work. Just give us a bit of the scope of how your role fits into all the planning that goes into Northwest Folk Life.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited to present this year. Last year we came back in person and in virtual because just the state of the world, and this year we're coming back again with a virtual festival and an in-person festival. Our stage, we have more stages, 23 stages, over 3,000 performers. It's just going to be a beautiful event to share with everybody again and be back in community with everybody. One of the big things that I think beyond the festival, but that supports the festival, is that we've been investing a lot in year-round programming. So we've tried to make folk life something that is every day. And we want to reinforce the fact with our community and our friends and our family and our fellow artisans and supporters that folk life is an everyday experience. It's not just something that happens on Memorial Day weekend. It's something that we get to share with each other every day. And so, when we culminate on Memorial Day weekend, it really is this opportunity to kind of like come together and celebrate the things that we are doing every month, every day, every hour of the year.
Well, what kind of ways have y'all been innovating so that folks can experience it year round? Tell us more about that, because that's really a newer facet for Northwest Folk Life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think in the past, folk life has had programs that existed throughout the year, but it wasn't as consistent. We have a really wonderful partnership with Metier Brewing down in the Central District, and we do a monthly concert series there every first Thursday. We have a really lovely partnership with Town Hall Seattle, where every once a month on Saturdays we do their Saturday Family Concert Series.
Nice.
So we bring in some of the performers that perform at our festival to play in front of kids. And more importantly than that, though, with the Town Hall is that it's not kids' music. It's folk music. It's music that everybody listens to, right? And so it's a nice opportunity for kids and their parents and just people in the community to come and share music and singing together. But then for the festival, some of the innovations that we have, which I'm really excited about, we're adding a fashion show this year, which is cool, so that we can talk about the folk of fashion, the history of fashion, its utility, but also its ornament and how that's particular to different cultures around the world, but it's also a shared thing all around the world. We have a program called Kuleana Corridor. Kuleana is a Hawaiian term that points to responsibility, and so it's our opportunity at the festival to shine a light on food sovereignty, food justice, food security, food access. We also have a couple more galleries so that there's a little bit more focus on visual art. We have a maker space so that there's focus on people that are making things and how to get people involved in using their hands to make their own folk and their own art. There's just and then we have 23 stages of music and dance and poetry and craft. It's a really beautiful, lucky job I get to have as artistic director.
Well, historically, Northwest Folk Life has really been known to uplift so much of the unique culture that exists in the Northwest. And this means that you have to really understand some of these tight niche artist communities. How have y'all been able to fill 23 stages, Ben? Because that is indeed the work. And I think folks in the community have experienced Northwest Folk Life to be like, man, there was people I didn't even know were performers. I met, I got introduced to their work at this festival. But tell us about how y'all really create that kind of community where y'all are able to bring folks in year after year.
I think this is arguably one of the most beautiful things about this organization. We are a really unique festival in that we're not a headliner festival. We're not bringing in acts from all over the world to and we're a ticketless festival, right? So we believe in access. But one of the beautiful things about our festival is that we have a program called our Community Coordinators program. And effectively, how that works is that we build relationships with individuals that represent different cultural communities around the region. So that fundamentally, there's an essence of trust, right, that we build with these community coordinators that they already have with their communities. And so I think part of the ever expanding and constant role of us as facilitators for the festival is making sure that we're nurturing those existing relationships and then continuing to find and create and nurture relationships that we haven't had yet, so that the festival itself is constantly updating itself on its reflection of the cultural tapestry that is the Pacific Northwest.
That's a beautiful way to do it. I mean, because I think that's the best and most organic way you can do something like this is by utilizing folks who are already tapped in. And I think that's really key to the success of the festival, honestly. And I love hearing you say how important that is in terms of your approach. You've highlighted a lot here, Ben. And, as I am sitting here listening to all the work that's put into this, how are you taking care of you, brother? I gotta ask.
I have a son that's turning 3 on Saturday. I'm lucky and fortunate to have a family that I get to come home to and play and roll around on the ground with and play Legos and play in the mud. I get to make music still. So, I was a touring musician for a number of years before this job, and I'm just fortunate that in Seattle there is such a hotbed of creativity and people to collaborate with and make art with. Not just music, right? Music and dance and poetry and film. And if my life is curating festivals, which I basically is a party planner, and then being able to make music and play around with my kid and my family, I think I'm all right. And eating, I like to eat.
There you go.
And,
You need sustenance.
You need sustenance.
Ben, look right there in the camera. Let folks know how they can tap into this year's Northwest Folk Life.
Folk Life Festival is Memorial Day weekend. That's May 26th through 29th. Check out our website at northwestfolklife.org, nwfolklife.org. Our program guide will be hitting the streets here in a matter of weeks. It's a ticketless festival, so please come, but donations are strongly encouraged and welcome. Please know that this festival is run with a lot of love and a lot of effort, and it is helped by your dollars. And one thing that you should know before I sign off is that this year, after 52 years, this is the first year that we will be compensating our artists. And we're really excited and proud that we can transition this festival into something that continues to advocate for our creative economy and our creative ecosystem. So please come to the festival, show your love, make a donation, buy some food, cheer at all the stages, go to all the stages, and make sure you follow us at Métier Brewing and Town Hall Seattle and all the other things that we're going to be doing throughout the year.
Great work, man, and kudos.
Right?
No, kudos to that, because we got to give to our artist communities. I think there's something to be said about the value that we place on what they're bringing to this amazing platform. And thank you so much for being here to share it with us.
Thanks for having me, Trae.
Absolutely. Well, we get to